Kelly's not gonna be here today, is she?
Nope.
Still on the sign and sheet.
No, just leave it blank.
There's no, I told Dave to scratch it out, and put his name in there.
On Kelly's.
Okay, we're live. Everything seems to be working.
We're recording?
We're recording. I'm recording on Teams and streaming live to YouTube.
Perfect.
Oh, so many steps.
What can we get? Everybody's here?
Yeah, I haven't got anything else recorded. So
Okay. All right, we do one of these?
I don't know. All I can see is bright lights and dark shadows waving at me.
Just saw the profile of their silhouette.
Greg, do you have any more of those agendas kicking around anywhere, or is that a big fun?
Right up on the table.
Seems kind of ironic, doesn't it? We have a tree board meeting, we kill 15 trees to print the agenda.
Nice.
Oh, is someone joining? Yes, Haley. Gus.
That's correct.
Oh, and you can hear us.
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Thank you.
I just set that over so I can peer over here.
Sounds good. Is Cora online yet? No?
It's not. Only Haley.
How we doing?
Good.
Steve Wendell, this one they did use.
You can do me a favor, just go inside. How you been?
Oh, good, how are you?
Good, good, good. How's the holidays?
Oh, hanging in there,
Yeah.
recovering finally,
Nice.
getting on with life, I guess.
Yeah. It's always nice coming off the holidays.
Yeah.
You look forward to it for so long, and then you get here, it's like, oh, can't wait for it to get over with.
Right. I've had enough of family.
Yeah. Those guys.
John. You actually built these. You actually built these.
Steve Wendell.
I'll keep you going.
Yeah, got the old man did.
And Haley is online as well.
Yes.
Carmen Matthews is not here, and there is Catherine or Pat. Yeah. Take it away, Cora.
Okay, ready to go?
It's 12:02. I think we're good to go.
Okay, who do we not have here today?
Should we do a roll call?
Sure, go ahead.
We'll start with Meredith.
Meredith, I'm here.
Okay, Meredith, sir, okay,
Chris Eads is here.
okay,
Dave Wagner, City of Coos Bay is here.
John Eck, staff.
Greg Hamlet, Operations Administrator.
Sam Nelson, Contract Administrative Specialist.
And online, folks,
Haley Lagacy.
and Cora Vanderelden.
I did receive word yesterday, Cora, that Rex Miller was not going to be in attendance today.
Okay.
I asked him if he had any comments. He said he had none.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So I'll go ahead and ask for approval of the September 28th, 2022 minutes. Any additions or corrections that we need to make?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, you have a motion. Anybody second it?
This is Haley, I second.
Okay. We have a motion made and seconded to accept the minutes. Anybody, all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, minutes are accepted. Samantha, you can go ahead and email that to me and I'll sign it and send it back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, any citizen input or public comment that today?
Doesn't appear anybody is in the gallery.
Okay, good.
And,
So we'll go on to,
and we did
go-
not receive any public comments.
okay. Why don't we go ahead on with the tree removals? The one at 375 North 4th Street.
Perfect.
I'm very opinionated on that one.
What's that?
I say I'm very opinionated on that one.
On the,
In the fact that you didn't want it removed or you do want it removed?
No, I do want it removed and I want the rest of them removed, but
Well, yeah, I think that's been a discussion we've had before about all those trees up there are so old that they're just falling apart.
all of them are in the same condition. It's just those two have failed. And the rest of them will, I think there's 3 more. I think they'll fail too, but I'm not sure when. And there have been 1 or 2 that have failed before. They're gone on the west side.
so, staff received a request for the removal of the tree adjacent to the driveway there at 375 North 4th Street. This came in right after our last tree board meeting where it was discussed at the meeting that we kind of create a new policy of reaching out to the tree board members on emergencies or just kind of fill you in on what's happening in between meetings. And then it was discovered that we would, if we were to ask for guidance or recommendations from the tree board, that would be in violation of the ORs. So we stopped that practice right after that email went out, and we're back to conducting business as usual and be in compliance with the state laws. Before I get too deep into this conversation, I'd like to take a moment to introduce 2 members of city staff to the tree board. 2 chairs to my left is Dave Wagner. Dave Wagner is the new Transportation and Facilities Superintendent with the City of Coos Bay. Dave will be attending these tree board meetings as well as the Park Commission meetings. And so we're really excited to have him as a resource and a great addition to the team here at City Hall and the Public Works Department. The second introduction I'd like to give is to my right, Sam Nelson. Full name is Samantha, but she goes by Sam. Sam is a contract administrator specialist with the city of Coos Bay. The last meeting we had, Emerald Brunette, she's moved on to other position. We're really excited to have Sam here. She's started back on the 15th of December, and I think she's going to fill the role quite well. So welcome, Sam. Welcome, Dave, to the tree board. So in regards to this tree, I'm not sure if the tree has been taken down, but we did go ahead and give the after-the-fact removal approval at the owner's expense. I believe it's down at the time. It had a major rot going on associated with the tree, and we authorized them to go ahead and pull the tree. So with that, staff is requesting that the tree board go ahead and approve the after-the-fact permit application with the tree being removed at the owner's expense.
I agree.
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay.
I'm in agreement as well.
Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll
Sure.
make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
A motion has been made and seconded to have the property owner remove the tree. All those in favor?
I think the tree is gone.
The tree is gone?
I believe so.
After the fact.
I haven't gone by to verify, but we did go ahead and give them the authorization at the time to go
Okay.
ahead and remove the tree.
Okay. So what happens if you've given them the approval and they don't do it? Is it then their liability or is it still the city's?
Correct. The liability would be on the property owner, the adjacent property owner.
Okay. So we have a motion made and seconded that corresponds with the city's approval to have the property owner remove the tree. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed to that? Okay, motion's carried. Okay, the next one is at 1183 Crocker.
So on October 10th, staff received a tree removal application to remove a large pine tree adjacent to 1183 Crocker Street. Staff evaluated the tree and concurred that the tree should be removed to prevent damage to the abutting residents. The tree property owner brought to our attention. Staff went out and took a look at the tree. It's discovered that two pines are were broken during the storm. Staff recommends that they remove those trees. While out on site, staff removed a dangerous limb that may have fallen on somebody, so that has been removed. The hazard has been mitigated, but the applicant would still like to proceed with the removal of the trees. Staff recommends that the trees be removed at the owner's expense.
I happen to know the property owner and the trees, so I'm in favor of letting them remove them.
Same.
I'll make a motion to approve that removal, tree removal at North Crocker.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to allow the property owner to remove is there the two pine trees that are creating an issue there
Those are the
at the
two.
property owner's expense?
Correct.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Greg, okay to go ahead and send the letter to the property owner allowing them to remove the trees at their expense.
Thank you.
I have a question on that removal. You know, after removal, do they have to replace those? Or are we free and clear on that?
They're not a street tree.
They're not a street tree.
Okay.
And besides that, that particular property, that lot is so heavily treed with not just trees, but a lot of other underbrush. And that I would say that removing those trees is actually going to be a help to the surrounding ones that are there.
Yeah, correct. That address is very heavy in foliage. So I think trying to get in there and plant something else in that area is going to be,
Wouldn't work.
no, I think nature's going to take control and make it back to its beautiful formal self.
I clean her gutters, and I can attest to the fact there's plenty of stuff.
Yes. She's a neighbor of mine, and I happen to know where I used to work. She used to work with me. So, yeah.
In that case, though, I mean, if they wanted to replant a tree, they wouldn't be prohibited from that, correct?
No, it's because it's on their property. It's not, it's anything related to the city or in the right of way there, I don't believe.
I think it's associated with the right-of-way, but, no, it's an unimproved right-of-way. It may be a call, whether it's on the private property in the right-of-way. Staff went out because there was not a clear delineation between the two. So
So is that why we're involved now?
that's why we're involved.
Okay.
Correct. And it looks like Haley's muted, so I don't know if she could hear what's going on, or I'm sure she could hear. I don't know if we can hear what she has to say, but
Yes, I can hear, and I don't have any questions about that particular one. It sounds like I would be in favor of it.
thank you.
So, is it okay for us to go ahead and proceed?
Staff will send a letter to the
Okay,
applicant.
thank you. Moving along, 178 commercial.
So 178 Commercial Avenue, the city staff received a tree removal application on November 17th to remove a tree that has damaged the sidewalk and the structure adjacent to the tree. Staff has evaluated the tree and concur that the tree should be removed to prevent further damage to the sidewalk and the structure. Staff estimates that the cost of the removal of this street tree will be $2,000. Staff recommends that we remove that tree and replace it with a different kind of tree that's not going to damage the sidewalk or cause damage to the buildings next to it.
Do we know what kind of tree it is that's there right now?
It's one of the maples.
One of the maples?
Sunset maple.
Sunset maple?
Sunset maple? Okay.
Like every other one of those trees down there, I've measured it, and it's probably outgrowing its root well hole. And it is into that front roof structure,
Yeah.
so it makes sense to do something with it before it gets worse.
So it was just, I was just reminded that as we move forward with our sidewalk replacements and realignment of roads and sidewalks and any construction projects that we do, we have to be cognizant of ADA requirements. And based off of the width of the sidewalk and the tree well in the area, we may not be able to replant a tree in this section to maintain ADA compliance. We have to have 4-foot wide walkway. So this tree may not be a candidate for replanting, rather than maybe replanting a tree at another location to be able to be compliant with ADA standards. This is going to be one of the things that as we move forward with sidewalk replacements through the downtown area, we may have to look at different methodologies of planting and different locations of plantings. But it's a conversation at a later time. But in regards to this particular tree, staff is recommending that we not plant a tree in its stead, but plant somewhere else to maintain that tree count in the area.
Limited space because of the proximity of the building to the curb, yeah.
Correct. I think we have to maintain a 4-foot wide corridor for ADA compliance. I believe we're right around 3 foot 6 inches, 3 foot 8 inches now. So we're kind of grandfathered in on some of these things, but as we make modifications and we have an opportunity to become ADA compliant, we're gonna try and capture that.
And then those older tree wells tend to be small for the size of trees we're putting in and the age of the trees.
Correct.
So I think that we've been doing larger tree wells,
Correct.
and that wouldn't fit here.
No, I think the tree wells we're placing now, I want to say are 4x4,
Yeah, I think they're 3x4, but I'm not sure.
perhaps 3x4.
And these tend to be more like 2x2.
Yeah, or 2x3, whatever. I think they were a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
definitely not big enough to facilitate a tree growth.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the database, the GIS database has all the information on all of these,
Yes.
including the sidewalk damage at the
Correct.
time of the survey.
Correct.
Yeah, and that particular area has been a problem for many years with those trees down there, so I think that we need to get it rectified and
So at this point, staff is requesting that the tree board approve this removal request.
I will make a motion to do that.
And this is Haley, I second.
okay, we have a motion made and seconded to have the city remove that tree there at 178 Commercial. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
See,
Okay, motion carries to allow the city to remove that tree.
thank you. Sorry, Cora, for the interruption.
That's right.
Looks like Patrick has joined the meeting. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that he had joined. Okay, moving on. After the fact tree removal at Park and North Fourth Court.
So staff received a email from a concerned citizen citing a tree that had fallen at a storm in early December, mid-December. And then the subsequent subsequent storm, late December, caused the homeowner across the street from these trees to have some concern about the rest of the trees on the hillside. Staff met with the Patrick Myers Tree Service on site, evaluated several trees along the hillside, and determined that the trees should be removed prior to the following storm, or as soon as possible. Staff contracted with Patrick Myers Company to remove those trees. Those trees have been removed from the hillside, and kind of preventing property damage or unexpected failures to the trees. So staff is requesting that the board approve the after the tree removal request, citing dangerous and unsafe trees.
I'm familiar with the area, and I go ahead and make a motion, approve it.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the after the fact tree removal at Park and North Fourth Court. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. On to the city sidewalk policy discussion.
So at the September tree board meeting, members requested a review of the city of Coos-based sidewalk policy. Staff is requesting that the members have a discussion about the sidewalk policy. Just a quick background on the sidewalk policy. So we've had adopted a sidewalk repair maintenance policy in 2014. And then in 2021, the city adopted a sidewalk maintenance tree sidewalk maintenance, I'm sorry, let me get the name of this. Sidewalk street tree damage repair policy in 2021. And so we have two policies. One addresses sidewalk maintenance, where in there's discussion about property owners, adjacent property owners' responsibilities to the sidewalks. And then the second policy is the sidewalk street tree damage repair policy. This one, I think, is a bit more in tune with the tree board and the street trees or city trees, and street trees, city trees, and the maintenance of the sidewalks associated with those city trees or street trees to the adjacent property owners. So with that, I'll open it up for conversation or discussion. One thing I do have to apologize for is there are some exhibits in the back of the sidewalk street tree damage repair policy that are in black and white, and there is a color-coded key on the last page. It's all in black and white, so unfortunately, I don't have the color-coded street trees here of what kind of trees they are, but the asterisks or the highlighted tree locations are still intact, just no tree species to go along with them.
And that's our GIS database that's available online.
Correct, correct. And so that is available. We just didn't print color for this report. So is there anything in particular board members would like to discuss, or is there?
I can tell you there's a lot of hazards out there.
Oh, yeah.
And as we move forward with those hazards, we understand that there's issues with trees. We have trees and sidewalks that have been around. I was just at the intersection of Ferguson and 8th Street, and in the stamped sidewalk, it's 2020 or 1920. And so we have a lot of old sidewalks. We have a lot of old concrete. We have a lot of trees that were planted in the 40s and 50s. These trees are fabulously beautiful trees that are, thriving, yet at the same time causing damage.
Curtis is really bad, and then is this commercial back here?
Commercial.
Commercial's got a lot of trees that are maxing out their wells, and then downtown, some of those
Correct.
oaks downtown.
So just to advise the tree board, we do have right now scheduled 2 sidewalk projects in the downtown corridor. One is on Commercial on the north side of Commercial between 5th and 7th. We have a fairly wide sidewalk there, so we're going to be able to put back in tree wells and be able to plant trees there. That project is in design. Should be at 90% design by the end of this February, and hopefully do construction this summer. The second one is Anderson, the south side of Anderson, between the 6th and 7th. That sidewalk there is scheduled to be repaired as well. With that, there's a few trees there, and once again, it's a fairly wide sidewalk, so I believe we're going to be able to put wells back in and plant trees in that area. And so we do have sidewalk projects that we are working on in the downtown area. One of the other goals is to present a 5-year sidewalk plan of the council. So staff is working on that currently. That way we can come through and make these improvements not only to the sidewalks, but also the health of our trees, and not constrict them with these concrete, and get better species of trees that would thrive better in a downtown corridor where we have traffic, foot traffic, vehicular traffic. So we're really excited about that prospect, but it is going to take some time to do that. And that's why this policy, specifically the sidewalk tree damage repair policy, is important, because that kind of lends some ownership to the adjacent property owners to take care of these things as well. As we move forward with these improvements, we're going to expect that those adjacent property owners maintain these areas so that we can have a nice downtown corridor for several years to come.
One thought that I've been toying with for quite a while is through inventory, determining the trees that are getting close to their damage potential on those the wells. Because when you've got a 3x, if you're looking at the old 2x3 wells, when you've got a 20-inch tree, it's getting close to max on that well. And then you get the 24-inch trees, which we've got 24, 26-inch trees down there that are still in that 2x3 well. They're rolling over the edges and lifting sidewalk. That's quite a thing to talk about, removing healthy trees in a sidewalk, but you've got to look at the damage that they are doing and will do.
Yeah, and as we move forward along this process, one of the things that we've got to keep in mind is budget restraints as well. It's a very real part of the topic of conversation is the budget constraints with doing sidewalk repairs or sidewalk additions or sidewalk maintenance. We have limited funds, so we kind of evaluate them on a case-by-case basis, and we try to select areas based off of budget, based off of priorities, based off of several factors. But, I think staff has done a pretty good job, along with the help of the tree board, to make those decisions. So I appreciate your guys' efforts in what we do here.
I've got a question on the sidewalk maintenance criteria. So if I understood you right, you're saying that the homeowner is responsible for the sidewalk in front of their house, not the city?
Correct.
So when the sidewalk needs repairs, being damaged by the trees, the sidewalk maintenance criteria takes precedence over the safety there requires the sidewalk to be repaired, but in order to do that, they need to remove the tree. This is kind of where I'm going with this. So why would we even need any tree board approval to remove a tree where it's affecting a sidewalk that's in conflict with the policy? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand your question, and we put that onus on once again, it comes down to budget dollars. Does the city have the budget to go out and make those repairs? And so it was adopted back in 2014, council adopted it, that this is the policy.
Well, you just told me the repairs are the responsibility of the homeowner, not the city.
Correct.
So why do you need a budget for sidewalk repair if it's the maintenance responsibility of the homeowner?
Because we do have certain areas where we will step in. If we're going to be replacing a sidewalk, say this sidewalk over here between 5th and 7th, that's a capital improvement that the city has taken on. If it was not a capital improvement that the city was taking on, and it was just a damaged sidewalk, we would be reaching out to the property owner to say, hey, the sidewalk adjacent to your property is damaged, needs to be repaired. But we're replacing that entire section to become, first of all, just to improve the area, but also to improve ADA compliance as well. And so as we move along with those projects, this 5-year plan that we have through the downtown corridor, a lot of the sidewalk policy is also going to be out in the residential areas. It doesn't just apply to the downtown area, it does apply to residential areas as well. So if there's a sidewalk out, say, on Fenwick, that a tree has damaged the sidewalk there, so the property owner would be responsible for replacing that sidewalk. and removing that tree if they wanted to remove that tree. So, yeah, the policy is not just for the downtown area, but for the city as a whole.
Right, yeah.
And so,
No, I understand that. I'm just saying they shouldn't have to get additional approval to remove the tree if you're telling them that they have to fix the sidewalk that's being damaged by the tree.
I think one thing to keep in mind, it kind of brings a second set of eyes in. A good example, some trees we did is we did a sidewalk replacement down by the Art Museum. My first inclination was those trees needed to come out, and we got a second set of eyes on it between Patrick Meyer and Rex Miller. And Rex is saying, you know, we shouldn't take these trees out, we should save them, and we did. Working with the arborist, we were able to trim those trees back, make room in the sidewalk to keep those beautiful trees that are down there. And understand that the policies written around the street trees that were planted by the city, that's our responsibility. Our trees are tearing up the sidewalk, we take care of the sidewalk. If you get out in some of these older neighborhoods where the developer, say up in the Milner Crest area where they have what we call a bow strip between the curb and the sidewalk and there's trees planted in there, that was planted by the developer many years ago, and those trees are starting to fail and they take sidewalks with them. That falls on the property owner to even though that tree's in right-of-way, so it has to go through this board for approval, but it's part of that development that caused that failure, and that's what makes them responsible for that.
Right, yeah, I understand that. It just seems like, you know, if, yeah, the tree is in the city right away, but I mean, if the only way to fix the sidewalk is to remove the tree.
I agree, but it's a safeguard so that people don't just arbitrarily cut trees down that are in the right of way.
Well, they would have to have some supporting information from the city saying that their sidewalk is
Right,
in
and that's, the
repair.
purpose of this board is to look at each case and make sure that it's in the best interest of the city and of the Tree City USA policy.
So what you're saying then is when we have a tree that needs to be removed, in those situations, we need the sidewalk report from the city? If the city's directing them to fix the sidewalk because a tree is damaging it and a tree needs to be removed, it would help the board make the decision to remove the tree because they've already got this other document from the city saying that the sidewalk is no good.
we could definitely make sure that that's part of the report to say that the city approached the residents.
Right, it's a process, and I think the process should at least be documented, you know, in the tree board handbook or whatever that says, you know, if you've got, you know, a report from the city that the sidewalk is damaged, you know, this is pretty much a green light to remove the tree, you know.
So maybe a policy change,
Or just an addition.
an addendum
you
to the
know,
policy.
Or some guidance in the policy.
Noted.
I still think that the present protocol that we have in place, bringing the issue to the tree board, regardless of whether it's the sidewalk or the tree that's creating the problem, allowing us to look at that and give the, you know, okay for the city or the property owner to remove the tree is still a good thing to have. It's a two-step process so that, like Greg said, that people just aren't out there cutting down trees.
Yeah, I do like the checks and balances. I do like the coordination with the tree board and city staff. Ideally, in a perfect world, we would not have after-the-fact tree removal requests, and ideally, we wouldn't have those, but you know, we do, and I'm glad we have the board to guide staff on a path moving forward with each individual basis. And like I said, we can include those situations where the city would reach out and say, hey, you need to repair your sidewalk. I don't think this happened very often. I think in my tenure, in my position, that has not happened. But if somebody brings a request to us to repair their sidewalk, we gotta take the street down, we'll be happy to present that evidence to this board.
Yeah, just streamline things, you know. I mean, it's just,
Sure.
seems like it would make sense, or have some information or guidance to the people on the tree board that, hey, this, you know, this is pretty much already been, it's a situation that we've recognized is gonna happen. And it's not, I mean, it's a reason to just approve the removal of the tree, you know?
Well, I think, like John alluded to, you know, the city is part of the Tree City USA. Part of that is, you know, we do have a tree board as well. We'd like to make sure that, I do understand what you're saying, we'd just like to make sure that we're getting the input of the tree board on anything that affects our trees. They're a very vital asset. I just got done writing a report for our application for the Tree City USA, and trees are a vital component of our community, of any community. I've shared with the tree board that, you know, living in Las Vegas for many years, I'm very familiar with the palm tree, but not very familiar with a lot of other trees. So when I first moved here, I was very, very excited to see the amount of trees that we have, the varieties of the trees that we do have. And just be able to look at some of those big spruce trees that we have in the park, or the other different varieties. I'm still not familiar with all the varieties, but I'm learning. But, you know, our downtown area, I think, is a very beautiful area. We want to make sure that we're keeping that. So if we do have a homeowner or a property owner that does take a tree out, what can we do to help them maybe plant another tree in its place to, you know, keep it looking the way we have it. Less the sidewalk damage, obviously.
Okay, any other comments, questions, remarks?
You had talked about doing the, I think it was emails to solve problems, and that wasn't a viable solution?
Yeah, so at the last tree board meeting, it was suggested, and staff thought it was a good idea that we, for after the fact or prior to after the fact applications or emergency tree removal requests, that staff email the board members looking for kind of a 5-day approval process, a review, and then giving the nod to remove the tree. As I stated earlier in the meeting today, that would have been in violation of ORS for public meeting.
Okay, so it's a public meeting issue then?
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking that you could do an online video meeting to save, you know, the gathering together people. You could do it from online, but if you have to do a video or a meeting that's available to the public, that wouldn't work.
Correct. We'd have to go through the public notice process and make sure that we're complying with those rules. So unfortunately, we weren't able to continue that.
That's sad, because that would have worked really well.
What's the time frame for the video, for the public meeting notification?
I'm not sure of that off the top of my head. I can find out and advise the board at the next meeting if you'd like.
It'd be nice to know, but it's not terribly important. I mean, there might be options to work around, but it depends on the notice that you have to give for that. Something could be done video-wise and still be available for public comment, even if it was video, and didn't have to assemble all the board members here if we could do it online. But
I think once again, that may be a review of the charter and how we're directed to conduct this business.
yeah, but if you had the time to notify the public ahead of time, it could be done with an empty chamber, empty of the board members, and they could be online and then still have public access here as we would any public came in.
Yeah, and once again, I think we'd have to look at the charter on how it's written out,
Yep.
what our meeting criterias are for the volunteer staff
Right.
that comes in, does this, and then also in compliance with the ORs as well.
Right.
And then the appetite of the board, whether that's something that they want to do on a, you know, I don't want to use the word whim, but on a short notice or, you know, on a more frequent basis.
Yep. Well, it doesn't happen very often.
No, it
I
does
don't
not.
think. I'm thinking of the new technological age.
Yeah, COVID revealed
Yeah,
a
a
lot
lot.
of that, did it not?
Yeah.
A lot can be done that way, but we still have to make sure that we meet the meeting rules, so.
But I can see the podium right there, and you could see the people that were here if you were on a chat or the online forum like that, so.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. It's just that we need to make sure that we can meet the meeting
Right.
rules.
Yep.
Because I know in the past, we've called emergency meetings that were different from our regularly quarterly scheduled meetings to address issues. So it's just a matter of getting the technology wordage into the meeting notices and such.
It depends on how it reads. Yeah.
Yep.
But in general, I don't think there's much difference between being here as you are right now. You're not here, but you're
No.
still participating in the meeting.
Right. Yep. Technology has taken us a long ways in a very short period of time. So any other comments? I was just going to tell everybody, the reason I haven't been to the meetings here lately is because I had a knee replacement done in October. I'm doing fine, but I still have to limit my exposure to other people for 6 months to make sure that I don't catch a virus that will go into an infection in my knee. So,
Well, we hope for a speedy recovery for you and hope to see you back in the council chambers up on the dais soon.
yes, I miss seeing everybody in person.
So
We'll be
with
counting
that-
down.
So with that, if I can add, last night at the city council meeting, it was requested that city staff remove the partitions here in city council chambers. So these are, you can see the blue tape. We're putting our puzzle pieces together so that when we take them apart, we know how they go back together again. So probably the next time we meet, we will not have these plexiglass partitions up.
Yay.
Okay, if everybody is done talking, I guess we can go ahead and disperse for today.
So, once again, city staff would like to thank the tree board members for their efforts, their input, their dedication, and also the fact that you guys are here to guide city staff on these matters. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. I think most of us enjoy being able to assist the city.
We done?
Yes, thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bye, everybody.